Hi, my name is Eline Vera. I'm a singer, content creator, and vocal producer. And today I'm going to show you some best practices when it comes to EQing vocals in BandLab to take your recordings to the next level. We're going to go through the basics of how to EQ a vocal, what to listen for, how you can differentiate your lead vocal from your backing vocals with EQ, and we're going to experiment with some creative EQ effects. Before we start, I just want to say that how to EQ a vocal really depends on the vocal you're applying it to. Now you can look at these tips I'm sharing as a starting point and guideline for EQing vocals, but I want to encourage you to use your ears and trust what sounds good to you. Let's dive right in.
I wanna taste the crush, I wanna feel, I wanna lay it down, I wanna string you up, I wanna make you mine.
Now, what is EQ and why would you need it? EQ or equalization is one of the most powerful tools you have when mixing vocals. Simply put, EQ allows you to shape the tonal balance of your vocals by boosting or cutting specific frequency ranges. And why is that important? Well, not all recordings are perfect, and sometimes vocals can sound a bit muddy, too thin or too harsh, and EQ can help clean up some of these issues, ensuring your vocals sit well in your mix. You can think of EQ as sculpting, removing unwanted frequencies and enhancing ones that make your vocals sound really great. To show you exactly what to listen for when EQing vocals, I created this PDF document that you can also download in the description. It is basically an EQ cheat sheet, and we're going to go through every single one of these sections, and I'm going to be playing you some examples that will EQ together using BandLab's Visual EQ. Now, Visual EQ is a membership feature, but you can totally apply the tips I'll be sharing to your vocals using the graphic EQ as well. Now let's get started. The low-end rumble. As far as vocals go, we don't really need any sub-bass frequencies, meaning we don't need any frequencies from 80 to 100 Hz and lower. They can introduce unnecessary noise like room rumble, electrical static, or equipment noise. To tame these frequencies, select the high-pass curve and set the cutoff frequency to around 80 to 100 Hz.
Step inside my mind, you can see the shrine, got you on my walls, believe it. Baby, don't be scared, want you everywhere, catch you if you fall, I mean it. Step inside my mind, you can see the shrine, got you on my walls, believe it.
Now, if you find that your vocal still needs additional cleaning up in the low end, you could try BandLab's denoise to clean up electrical static or equipment noise from your recordings. Now onto the body of the vocal, which is between 100 and 300 Hz. This range adds warmth and fullness to your vocal. However, too much can make it sound boomy.
See it in my eyes, how they never lie, just a little bite, are you dreaming?
And too little can make it sound thin.
See it in my eyes, how they never lie, just a little bite, are you dreaming?
Use subtle cuts or boosts based on the vocal's character. And if it sounds muddy, try a small cut around 150 Hz.
See it in my eyes, how they never lie, just a little bite, are you dreaming? Now I got you up, would you look at us, fantasy to life, and I'm screaming, screaming.
Choose band 2 or 3 with a peaking curve, set it to the 500-600 Hz range, and drag it down to reduce those unwanted frequencies. The mid-range bite. The mid-range bite is between 1 and 4 kHz. Now, this is a busy zone, especially if you also have guitars or synths in your track. It gives the vocal clarity, but it can also introduce some harshness. If your vocal is sounding a bit nasal, try targeting around 1.6 kHz. Use the peaking curve to pinpoint this frequency and then gently reduce it to smooth out that nasal tone and make your vocal sound more balanced.
I wanna feel, wanna taste, wanna get you going. I wanna lay, wanna string, wanna make you mine.
The sibilance zone is between 5 to 8 kHz, and this range affects the brightness, but it's also where you can find your sibilance, your harsh S's and T's. If this is the case with your vocal, add a gentle broad cut.
Closer I get, can you resist? It's relentless, it's why.
If your vocal is missing clarity and presence, you can also boost at around 6.4 kHz, but be cautious not to overdo that. Boosting too much can make your vocal sound too harsh. If you still hear too much sibilance and EQ just won't do the trick, I'd recommend you to use BandLab's de-esser to tame those S's and T's. Lastly, the air region. This is where you add that sparkling, shimmering, airy quality. Rolling off too much here can make the vocal sound dull, but a slight boost between 12 and 20 kHz can add brilliance. Now be subtle, boosts in this range are usually small.
Closer I get, can you resist? It's relentless, it's why.
When you have a lot of vocals in your song, it is important to give each vocal their own space in the mix, and EQ plays a big role in achieving the right balance. So for lead vocals, it's important to focus on clarity and presence. Clean up the low end with a high-pass filter and address harsh frequencies in the mid-range. Small boosts in the high frequencies can add brilliance. Remember, the lead vocal should sit prominently in your mix as it is the most important vocal. Now moving on to the backing vocals. These should complement and not compete with your lead vocal. So a good rule of thumb is to apply similar EQ principles, but roll off more of the low end and reduce some high frequencies to create space. You could also dip the mid-range slightly to let that lead vocal shine through. To give you a comparison, here is the EQ I use on my lead vocal.
I wanna feel the rush, I wanna taste the crush, I wanna get you going.
And now here's that same vocal, but with the EQ settings I use for backing vocals.
I wanna feel the rush, I wanna taste the crush, I wanna get you going.
Now to give you another example, let's listen to lead and backing vocals together. This is what it sounds like if you EQ your lead and backing vocals the same way.
I wanna feel the rush, I wanna taste the crush, I wanna get you going. I wanna lay it down, I wanna string you up, I wanna make you mine.
Now this might sound really bright to you, which it definitely does, but since all the vocals are now fighting for those same frequencies, the lead vocal kind of gets lost and drowned out by all those backing vocals. So to fix that, we're going to create some space for the lead vocal by rolling off some low and high frequencies for our backing vocals. Now it sounds like this.
I wanna feel the rush, I wanna taste the crush, I wanna get you going. I wanna lay it down, I wanna string you up, I wanna make you mine.
Much better. Now you might be wondering, can EQ also be used in more creative ways? Definitely. Let me show you. The telephone effect. You've probably heard this type of vocal a lot in music. It is used very often, and you can easily recreate it by cutting the low and high frequencies, really narrowing it down to just the high mids. You can even boost the high mid frequencies a little, and this creates that classic telephone sound.
Dance with me. Dance with me.
The sweeping filtered effect can be used to create some really interesting vocal textures, transitions, or risers. Automate a high or low pass filter sweep for an effect that sounds like this. Or automate the peaking EQ frequency for this trippy vocal effect. And there you have it. These EQ techniques will help you shape your vocals and make them sound more polished and professional in BandLab. Make sure to download the vocal EQ cheat sheet in the description as a rough guideline. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what your favorite vocal EQ tip is. Thanks for watching and keep creating music.